Jordan 1 High Royal making its return since 2017, that makes a lot of sense. It's almost a decade since we've seen that pair come out. This making a return already in 2026.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's a little confusing to me. I know I'm not alone. Just drop your thoughts. Do you feel like it's a little ahead of its time for us to see a retro for the Black Cement or Bred? I can't believe I actually did a video like years ago. It feels so long ago talking about, was it Black Cement? Is it Bred? It really just depends on who you're talking to. I've truly always thought of it as Black Cement. And then as time evolved, we know that so many people refer to it as a Bred 4. So it's like, hey, we'll call it whatever. Bred 4, quite honestly, is what is searched a whole lot. So if you want your videos or whatever you're discussing to end up in the algorithm, then cool, call it a Bred 4. It's already back. Like that's I didn't have that, truthfully, on my bingo card in 2026. And yeah, for the set, like, listen, it will be as evolving as your spending plan or budget should be for any given month or year, which means it'll evolve. It'll change. This will be in frame. It could not be in frame, okay? I'll move things in. I'll space things out. It really just depends on whatever I'm feeling. Furniture is forever moved around, so just to say that. And yeah, this 11 jersey for Stranger Things, amazing. I don't gatekeep. It's from Box Lunch. I'll just go ahead and put the link below if you're interested and you're a Stranger Things fan. And I, for one, absolutely love the finale. I am not one of these people that is delusional and is upset with the Duffer Brothers. Absolutely not. Loved everything about it. So, on to the actual shoe, discussing this still. This dropped 2019. And we then saw the 2024 Reimagined pair, which was in leather. Now, I'm not upset whatsoever in the shift of it going to leather. Why? We just had this conversation on why the actual 2017 Royal one was more for me versus the Reimagined all suede pair. Leather is it's easier to deal with. Someone even commented, hey, when you live in the Midwest, being able to just easily wipe your shoes down because they are leather and put them back in your closet, that's a blessing. Now, if you live in a climate where you really don't have to deal with as much, just snow, rain, sleet, and everything that happens in the Midwest, then fine. Like, listen, I currently live here and I continuously have to deal with that. So I have to be very selective in, what pair am I wearing based on the weather? I'm just not going to risk it for certain pairs. So I get people wanting the Air Jordan 4 Black Cement or Bred in an all leather option. Totally get it and respect it. And a lot of you had that shoe as your sneaker of the year. I wasn't mad about that either. It wasn't sneaker of the year for me. And when we look at 2026, I'm going to stick to the change that I made in 2025 and counting down like the top 10 sneakers that I think at least, or I had slated for the year, and that I don't want it to feel like a discography of what we've already seen from a brand. Meaning if it's a retro and it just happens to be reimagined, then I still don't think that I'm going to go ahead and like put it on my list. So I guess that's throwing out like a very early 12-month disclaimer for that. It's not. Now, if we're still talking like top 10, not even really top 10 because there's more categories than that. Either way, Nice Kicks had their annual awards. So this is their third year of doing this, in which they break it down into categories. I love that they do this. I did this a few years ago. I don't remember the start of it, but it was kind of like superlatives, right? Because it does feel like sometimes different categories would certainly warrant different pairs being awarded. When you are looking at maybe something that is just really underrepresented or it just flew under the radar. I love the fact that there's a women's category, performance, independent, because independent designers absolutely deserve their shine. There are so many different hurdles they're facing and overcoming, and then shining in their own right alongside these big brands. So I was selected, thankfully, as one of the 100 panelists in which we vote. So it is based on whatever it kind of gets narrowed down to, because just know, I wanted the A1 to be incorporated into so many other things, but guess what? It didn't necessarily make that final cut of what we were voting for. But the awards don't come out until January 15th. Once they're out, then maybe I'll do like a follow-up video to say, hey, these were the actual winners. And here's what I voted for myself. But when we're looking ahead, it kind of does feel like we're going to see from Jordan Brand them bringing back the tried and true, the if it's not broke, don't fix it, releases from them. And I get it from a safe perspective, but What I loved about, again, the Jordan 40 is the fact that it garnered respect and attention and it was new. I know they struggle with that because so many of their newer performance pairs, they don't give off lifestyle, and that's what people want. Whether they want to admit it or not, people want lifestyle. I did a video on that last year. Is it the brand? Is it on us as a consumer to stop always wanting lifestyle from a performance pair? But pairs can do both. The Ja 3 does both. The A1 does both. Like, so many pairs, they find a way to do both. So I just didn't see this coming out now. You can comment your thoughts below. If you already own the 2019, are you going for the 2026? I'm not saying some of you don't have your pairs and they're not already beat up. Like, mine isn't, and maybe it's because, if I'm being truthful, there are so many other options that are just more comfortable on foot than this four. There just are. I just have to say that, okay? I'm more likely to reach for an Air Jordan 3 than I am a 4. Now, to me, 3s are one of the more comfortable silhouettes when it comes to the, Jordan brand. And we know Levi's is having a moment. Not that they hadn't already had one with the Jordan brand. Matter of fact, I owned the Air Jordan 4 in the black denim. It was one of the first pairs that I sold when I started the sell-off for my collection. I was so excited when I picked these up. I think I secured these on eBay. Like, eBay is truly bad. I think I secured these on eBay. The only thing missing, I didn't have like the top, which is probably because the individual went probably to an outlet to be able to get it. So it didn't have the top, but of course it came in a red box. And my initial thought was to actually get this Jordan 4 distressed. Like, I think denim distressed, well, this should come as a shock to nobody. I love distressed denim, like actually wearing it, even though I do have denim that's not distressed in 2026. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness, if I get these to a designer or a customizer and they actually like do some distressing all over the shoe, this will give it so much character, so much flair, and I'll wear them so much. What do you think I did? One, never got them distressed, and two, they just weren't worn a whole lot. So again, I'm learning from my past lessons, and not gonna go for it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna fall for that again. Now, I think they look good. I think the black pair, it is very similar to a black cement 3. I totally get the comparisons there. Very similar. Is anybody else, though, do you fall into this category where you'll see the shoes, but then you'll see the clothing or the capsule that goes with it, and the apparel ends up appealing to you more? I can't be the only one where that happens, but that has happened. Like, being able to see some of the promo and the marketing for it, like, the clothing is appealing to me, but those prices are never really appealing to me. And part of the reason is because inspired by Kevin Concepts a few years ago, he made his own like Levi's Nike jacket. I took it upon myself. I was like, yo, this is dope. I want to see if I can do this too. So no joke, I ordered patches. I even cut like the tag out of one of my older Nike track t-shirts because it had the orange and blue tag, if you guys remember those. Had some patches, took them to a seamstress here in town, and they said, yeah, no problem. They sewed the actual patches on and then, ironed some of them on and pressed some of them on, and then it went ahead and reinforced it with some stitching for me. And no joke, I absolutely love the way these DIY jackets came out. I'll be sure that they're on screen just so you guys can see them. But I almost feel like I have a pretty dope Levi's Nike collaboration already going on in my closet. And it certainly didn't cost me a lot. I sourced these worn, broken-in jackets from eBay. So, hey, like, go ahead and upcycle something. I took a sustainable approach. I was proud of myself. Bought the jackets secondhand, already broken in, went ahead and sourced the patches. They were actually from like a former Nike employees because they actually like shipped from Oregon. So they probably just had tons of tags and different things left over and sourced them from there. I don't think that ran me more than $30, and then took it to the seamstress. That wasn't crazy expensive either to get both jackets done. And I have something that does, show the fact, I guess, early on that we do have that relationship between these two brands. They're tried and true brands. One thing about Levi's, the quality is there. I think that is something we can all appreciate. Like, no joke, I had to get rid of a Ralph Lauren chambray shirt because it no longer fit. And I went ahead and just got a Levi's one because I know that's going to last me quite a bit. Also, there was like a recent Nas and Levi's collaboration, super dope. But like, I love the fact that quality jacket gonna last me a long time. It certainly has, you know, it's been made into my own, and that's something you should always do with your style, right? I talk about that in a recent video, just in terms of, hey, like the things that we should leave behind in 2025, we should leave when it comes to sneakers. Like, make it your own. It's your own style. It's your own individual preferences, right? We shouldn't have a group think. At least I don't think that we should. But yeah, comment your thoughts. Are you interested in the Levi's collaboration that's coming out? Do you like the Jordan 3 that we're seeing more than Jordan 4? Of course, we also had the Air Max 95, which, you know, it was on a lot of people's radar, and some even ranked it as their sneaker of the year for 2025. Not mad about that, because it was something we hadn't seen before, and just, I'm more appreciative of that. I am appreciative of the fact that I have the Nike Mind 001 and the light bone colorway. It actually arrived just before sitting down to film this video. So I'll go ahead and unbox that. I will throw this caveat out there though. I think to even like give you real feedback, you kind of need to wear it for a little bit. I don't think anything is instantly calming if it's not like actual medication or tranquilizer, or just being real. So like, probably need to actually wear them for a little bit. This is just my thought, okay? But again, share yours below on the Air Jordan 4 Bred Black Cement already coming back. Levi's collaboration. Are you more drawn to the shoe than the clothes, the 3 than the 4? And hey, would you even DIY like your own collaboration of a brand that you love and Nike? As always, thank you for watching. Act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.